Welcome back, Nerd Nation. Today's guest is none other than Galen Otis. Welcome, Galen.
Well, thank you for having me, Eric.
So, tell us a little bit about your background. So, you came to Nerd. You've been with Nerd for how long?
I've been with Nerd since May of 2018. So,
2018.
3 years.
Cool. And you came in right when our assessor program was brand new, right? In fact, you basically got that off the ground.
Yes. We about 6 weeks into being at Nerd, they made the announcement that they were going to start a van program, a canvassing program, and so I got in right at the bottom and have been in the division the whole time. So it's been a great journey.
Cool. So a lot of people don't understand that. Seems like everyone we've had on here so far has had a lot of door knocking experience, and you are the same, right? So you've knocked doors for quite a while, right?
September 8th of 1997, I knocked on my first door.
Wow, how do you remember these dates? Like, you're like my wife. My wife remembers everything, and I can't even remember, like, last week.
A friend of mine from high school, Angel, had left. I went to the interview with her, and I said, "No, this sounds crazy. Go ahead." And month after month, call and postcard about how great the opportunity was, and it was getting to be very cold in Iowa, as it does every year. In August and September, and they were in Florida, and it was like, oh, this is a great time. We'll buy you a ticket. And so I remember the date because I rode on a Greyhound bus from September 6th and 7th, got all the way out there, and then the first day I went out and trained. So it was a great experience.
Wow. So your first door knocking experience was in Florida.
Yes.
And how many states have you knocked?
44. Every state except for Hawaii, Alaska, North and South Dakota, Maine, and New Hampshire.
44. I've got you beat, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've done 48 states.
That is amazing.
So the only two I haven't knocked is North Carolina and South Carolina, which are two very popular knocking states. I don't know why I haven't knocked those. I never have.
Densely populated, really nice people. I've had great experiences in both North and South Carolina.
Yeah, I need to change my ways, babe. Open an office in North and South Dakota.
Let's go.
Or Carolina. So cool. So what was it that you were doing back then?
So magazines and books. So just canvassing door to door. Little different than this industry where we can only talk to homeowners. We were in apartment complexes, trailer parks, dorms. There was really no area that was off limits. So we hit every square inch of most cities.
Cool. Now, in talking with a lot of the other guys, there was like one experience or something that they did, right, where they're like, okay, I can do this. Tell me, like, when you started knocking doors, was it instant success? Was this like, hey, I can do this, or did you struggle? Tell me about that.
No, I got off to a really good start. They had a good training program, and I think in the 90s it was a great time to be out canvassing. People were very open. This is pre 9/11, so it was just a great time to actually be out there engaging and talking to people. People really enjoyed it. It was a different time to be alive. So no, I got off to early success and saw some big days. My biggest day doing magazines or books was at 21 families in one day. So it was pretty exciting.
And did you travel all over? Like, was that a full-time job? Was it seasonal? Were you
7 years I was a traveling canvasser on the road, living out of hotels, living out of suitcases.
Wow. And part of those 7 years, though, you were like the leader, right?
Correct. Probably 4 to 6 months in, became what they called a team leader, as we do here. So managing teams within a couple of years, having my own team. That whole experience, there was steps along the way. Cool.
So you kind of have an interesting story because you took a break and did some cruises, right? Like,
when I finally decided in 2004 that I needed a break from all the traveling, I was like, I need to go somewhere and find something I can do where I just won't run into a door knocker. I didn't want to see anyone, and I saw an ad to work on a cruise ship in Hawaii. So I went to the interview, got the job, flew down there, did the training, the Coast Guard certification, got on the ship, and for 2 years I just lived on a ship. And was a waiter and then assistant maitre d', and it was a great experience. And I took my 5-week break. You get a 5-week break every 5 months. Went to Vegas with a couple coworkers and ran into some old door knockers that I knew, and they were doing security. and next thing you know, I'm selling alarms door to door. So
Okay. That's right. So you went to Vegas and ended up staying in Vegas.
yes,
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
yes it does. Yes it does.
When you go to Vegas, you stay in Vegas. So tell me, how long did you do securities?
So that was 2009 that I, like I said, got back into canvassing. And from 2009 until 2018, I was in the security industry. And May of 2018, the security dealer I was working for here in Gilbert closed down, and they were all coming over to Nerd. So I came right over. So really, from 2009 till today, I've been back in the industry.
And you were actually, when you came to Nerd, you were actually doing sales, and we kind of asked you to help build that door knocking program. So you're doing, so back in the day with Nerd, we did everything self-gen, right?
Correct. From day one, I was here creating leads and then going back and pitching those leads and closed a few on my own. Definitely a little bit of a learning curve. So when the opportunity to start a van program came, I was very open to it because it was something I just felt that I had a stronger foundation and better skill set for.
Cool. So what was, I've heard you kind of tell your story before. So securities is different. It's a different sale. In fact, I think I heard you this morning in an interview talking about this. So explain those differences.
I think a lot of the major differences is it's a decision that people can make instantly. They don't need to do as much research. Plus, a lot of times people do it because something's happened, or there's some concerns, or they're new to an area. So, and it's just it's an easier decision. It's obviously been around more. People are a little more open to it. So I was just used to day in and day out going out and creating a lead and selling it. And obviously the numbers are a little bit different in this industry, so it took a little bit getting used to mentally. My wife was so used to me coming home every day and saying, "How was your day? How many did you get?" And I'd be like, 1, 2, 3, 4. It was rarely a day I came home with nothing to talk about. Obviously in this industry, the numbers are a little different, so that took a little bit for both of us to get used to.
Yeah, it is a little bit different like that. So let's put this in perspective, though. So 1997, September 6th, right?
8th, September 8th.
Sorry. So 1997, and you had a 2-year break. But ever since then, I mean, you've been pretty much on the doors.
Yes. I feel very, very comfortable, talking to somebody at their home, at their place of residence. I think it's a very enjoyable thing to do. It's kind of like being a door-to-door game show host. I've met so many interesting people throughout the years. I have many friends that actually started off talking to them at their door, ran into someone from elementary school at a door. I've definitely had an interesting experience. No bad experiences, no matter the state or time.
That's awesome. And so let's talk a little bit about the program that you helped build. So currently it's called Special Promotions. I think we're in the middle of rebranding that. But so you started as just an assessor, just knocking doors.
Yes.
Right. And then you became a team leader, and I think still hold the records for the most sales in a month.
Yes, most accounts created for the team, RPs, SITs, and sold, and the sold number is 33. I think the closest we've seen somebody come so far is 15. So more than double anyone else. I had really, really big team, and we were a well-oiled machine. So I'm really hopeful that very soon, 2022, that somebody beats my record. I'm looking forward to taking them out for a nice steak dinner.
So we've actually talked a lot about this recently, and it's been, a question that you and I, challenge each other with back and forth, and that is, what's different? Like you crushed it out there. Like 33, that's a lot in one month. And what do you think's different? Like, what do you think's holding us back?
So I look at it a lot like in football, when you see like an undrafted, free agent, somebody like Tyler Lockett that just blows the expectations for what all the scouts and for what all the data says is a top talent. And I think that we tend to do that when we look at resumes or when we ask some interview questions, is there's a certain type of human being that we think is going to be an amazing assessor, an amazing advisor. And 9 out of 10 times that's true. But there are so many undrafted free agents I see in each orientation that I see that apply to these jobs that are the diamonds in the rough. And if you get 1 or 2 of those each week that you hire, over time, that's going to add up, and that's going to be the difference in your team.
Yeah. And then one of the other things that you were really, really, really good at is you were good at, because this is how you survived back in the day, and that was you got your team to recruit your team, right? Like they were all friends. They knew each other. It was like a little family.
No, and that comes from the culture. I mean, every Friday, no matter what, we went and played disc golf. And Friday was just a day where my schedule was open. It started with just 3 or 4 of us, and it ended up becoming just something that could be counted on. People knew to meet us at the office or meet us at the park. So we had a nucleus that I had together for at least a year. A very strong nucleus, people that I still talk to. These are friends outside of Nerd. And it made a big difference because when you have that type of culture, when you have that type of environment, it's gonna attract people. And they really, this nucleus couldn't go anywhere without bumping into someone. And if they met somebody that just had that Nerd mentality, they brought them in. And when they saw that culture and the atmosphere that we had, it was just easy to add talent to the team.
That's awesome. And then, so from there, you were team leader for how long?
Going on 17 to 18 months, where I was going out to the field each and every day with the team. We're talking, in the office by 8 or 9 and not done until 9 o'clock, doing the interviews, the boot camps, the trainings, the meetings, going to the field, running people around all day, bringing them back, and then closing out, and then spending 45 minutes to an hour playing ping pong. We were here all day and having a great time doing it.
That's right, because I remember when you first started playing ping pong, you weren't very good.
No, I might have played ping pong, pre fifth grade that I don't remember. Other than that, I really don't think I was ever taught to play ping pong or tennis or any sport that requires the skill set. But after many hours, hundreds of hours getting my butt kicked here, I feel that I finally am somebody to compete with on a daily basis. So.
Didn't you beat Dallas one game?
I have beaten Dallas Howell one game, and I'd like to add in his home court, at his office.
Which we know he cheats down there.
So. Well,
He rigs the table.
I have no comment. I can neither confirm nor deny these allegations, Eric Thomas.
So that's interesting, though. So one of the things that I remember you and I talking about recently was the fact that you said, one of your biggest, one of the things that had the greatest impact on your program was after everyone came home. Just you would stay there and play ping pong. You would stay there and talk out their days. You'd say. You would help them kind of get over those rough days and, give them a reason to come back the next day, right?
I remember, that time in Vegas when I was doing security. I was new to that city. I didn't know too many people, and the office that we had was better than my home. I didn't have a lot of furniture. I didn't have a lot of friends. They had a video game system and a TV and cornhole, and there was things to do just like there is here at Nerd. So that was my home away from home. I preferred to be there. So that can make all the difference in the world for somebody. That's what we want. We want this to be better than home. We don't want people looking at the clock and getting here at the last minute or leaving the second that work's over. So I think it can make the biggest difference in the world if this is kind of like the clubhouse or the fraternity house. And
I think that kind of leads into my next question, which is, what did you do to not burn out? We hear that a lot right now, right? Like, it just seems like, it's not an easy job. It's not necessarily the hardest thing in the world, but like people get burned out. But like you and me and some of us, we've knocked doors for 20 plus years, So what do you think it is? Like, how have you been able to stay fresh on the doors and be able to go out day in and day out and knock some doors?
I think it is having that relationship with your team and having that mindset that this is more than just the numbers at the end of the day. I think when you have that attitude, it translates to your team. There's less stress, there's less anxiety, and when you treat people as your friends, when you have a team like that means more to you than what they do each day, that's going to pay itself back time and time again. So
Yeah, because I remember you guys did disc golf, like you said. You played ping pong, but you also have people over at Thanksgiving. Like you're kind of like you said, you create a little family there. So.
No, great group of people that we've had since 2018. I still remember the first four. Tyler Dean, who's still with us. He was the first assessor hired for the van team, for my team. Jose Augusto, Amber Schneider, and Skylar Margaritas, and I'm still friends with three of the four. I haven't spoken to Amber ever, but Tyler and Skylar and Jose, great people, all still doing very, very successful, and I still talk to them just a few times a year. So
that's awesome. What else? Like, what do you do what are some of the things you do for fun? What are some of your hobbies?
Well, we go boating. We love to go out to Lake Pleasant. We have a lot of great friends that go out there. We also now have a camper that we go out, the Beast, that we take and go camping. So we're outdoors people. We like to sit by the fire. My wife loves to play poker or heads up. So we have a great group of friends. We're really, really, truly blessed. Great family here as well. So just have a good time.
Cool.
And watch the Hawks. This might not be the best year for us, but I've been here when we were like this before, and I'm truly, truly optimistic that we will finish the year strong. But that's definitely my favorite thing to do. Just not today.
Awesome. So getting back to the special promotions program, so you went from a team leader to kind of running the whole program.
Yes.
Which includes traveling around a little bit. And what people don't realize is I remember when I was younger in the industry, I used to look at that guy, and I think I've shared this on the podcast already. I used to look at those guys that would travel around and be like, oh my gosh, that would be such an easy, great job, but it's hard.
It's hard. And if you remember Patrick, he used to ask, all the time, hey, guys, I want to go travel. He thought it was fun. No, traveling's hard. I don't sleep well when I'm away from my wife and my cat and my bed and just all the sounds and feelings in your house. When you wake up in the middle of the night to get a glass of water, use the bathroom, you hit the garbage can in the wall, and your time schedule is different, sleep schedule, the food that you eat. So
and then you got to go in the next day and be on your A game.
Be on your A game, and you get hit with questions and comments and problems that you couldn't even believe were going on. It's surprising some of the things that you get caught up in, and so it's as long a day as it gets. And yes, you got to have on your best face, and you got to roll with all the punches, and you're not in your comfort zone. You don't have your family, your loved ones to go back to and console you. It might be a 1-day trip, it might be a 5-day trip. So no, I think going on the road and traveling is as hard as it gets, but luckily we have some great offices and some great leaders and some great teams. And so I got to say almost every trip is definitely worth it. It definitely see a difference and see the impact that it makes to everybody when we come out.
And I think that's what's interesting is I've noticed when you travel that it does make an impact. I mean, I've done this a long time, and I've noticed that when some people go out, there's not that impact, right? There's not that change in whether it's stats or culture or feeling of the office, and because it's hard to do. It's hard to bring that to another office.
Well, and you have to be careful not to step on anyone's toes. Immediately when I get to an office, I'm like, oh, I want to move this here and move this here. I'm like, settle down. It's not my office. I'm a guest. I'm here visiting. So you gotta make sure that you come in hot.
Yeah, don't ruffle feathers. Awesome. So cool. So you're also, probably in the last year and a half, you've been different assignments at NERD. So what are some of the other responsibilities you have here at NERD?
So events, obviously, during the COVID, we had a shutdown on events. The person in charge of events left. So I have a lot of experience. I actually met my wife when I was doing events for ADT.
That's right, down in Tucson.
At the Arizona, I met her at the Arizona State Fair.
Oh, that's right.
Saw her for...
Your first date was in Tucson.
First date was in Tucson. It was about a year.
See, Angel, I was listening.
Well, when we first met at the fair, we were both in relationships. She was doing Zip Fizz, an energy drink, and saw her for about a year and saw her at Tucson on setup day and said, hey, "Hey, Angel," and she said, "What are you doing tonight?" I said, well, "I'm going out with some friends." She goes, "Well, I want to do something. I'm single now." And I said, "Well, me too." And we had our first date, and we've been together ever since. So truly, truly blessed. So I've got a lot of experience with events. So we've gotten the event program back on its feet.
Yeah.
It's great because the assessors are now getting the option to work those. The top producers are getting the advantage of going to that, and we're doing home shows, we're doing gun shows, we're doing pizza festivals. So we're really open to any event in any market. And then recruiting is really important for both events and for the canvassing, the special promotions team. It's really the lifeblood for both of those programs. And so I manage obviously the recruiting for that as well.
Awesome. So recruiting, events, and the special promotion program.
Yes.
So any hints on what we're going to rebrand that name as? Or
I love Power. I think Power is
Power's the one.
that's my favorite so far.
Awesome. Well, Galen, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's always fun to get to know our fellow nerds. So we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.